Okay, welcome back. What I've been doing today then, it's Monday, so I'm doing another mono preset. Yeah, every Monday I'm restricting myself to mono. So what I thought I could do with this then is often when I'm doing gigs, I have the opportunity to use a backline amp, and these can be usually one of two things. It's usually a Fender Twin or a Fender Hot Rod DeVille or Deluxe, something along that line. So what I've done is done a preset that I've called it Fender Backline because it's kind of one of these two valve amps is usually what you get. And my thinking is that if I can get a good sound going into the Fender Twin, what I can do is I can send that to front of house as a mono processed, modelled sound, and also split off before the virtual amp, before the amp in the Helix, and go out of one of the sends to the actual physical amp. So these amps are fantastic pedal platforms. So what I've done is essentially made a pedal board to go before a Fender valve amp. So if we have a look, I won't demonstrate the wah, but I've got this little slash wah that I use, which I recreated. I can't remember how I did it now, but it's in my favourites. So I will make this available for download. So all this will be in the preset. Into a dynamic comp, tremolo, because why not? Kinky boost. The main tones 4-channel amp. We're using this SD1 Boss pedal. It's kind of a mild overdrive. I thought if I could get a good sound out of this, then I'd be halfway there, swapping to maybe more what's the word? Not premium, but more high regarded overdrives and distortions in the Helix, all the Helixes, HX Stomps, etc. I've got a little chorus, and then down here, because we're in mono, and I like to do this anyway, I've got a parallel reverb and delay. This here is a 4 decibel boost. You can affect that however you like, but I find that a 2.5 boost at the end of the chain is quite nice to front of house. But if we're before an amp, 4 dB I find gets you somewhere that you're kind of above the mix. And then this is the split, which is just I could make this any kind of I could use this split or the AB, doesn't really matter. We're splitting down the middle to our new Agora US double black, the Fender Twin Reverb, into a single cab, and this is exactly stock. I've just changed the high and low cuts. The low cuts are a little bit higher actually than I normally do. I can't remember actually doing that. I might adjust that as I play through this today. Into a high-low cut that's around my usual 111 for the low and 5.7K for the high. And then into a dynamic, LA Studio Comp, and then this here is my EQ that kind of boosts the lows and highs, kind of gets me close to what we'll experience when we plug through a big system. And then down the bottom here, I've just got one parametric EQ, which is currently doing absolutely nothing, but we could maybe use that if we wanted to, if we're struggling to dial in the amp. We, find these parametrics, especially with the touchscreen, really, really useful to, affect. But I would imagine you're not going to have that kind of problem. So if we go through these 4 sounds, we've got the clean, which I'm currently on, which is, as I say, all based around this Boss SD1. Then we've got the crunch. We've got the overdrive, and then I've got another overdrive. which is very similar, just adding a little bit more gain. I then got an exotic EP pedal. Just gives us a little bit more gain. Exotic SP compressor, which I'm not on that. There we go. We've got the... If we go on to the clean a second. Doing very little, but we're using a Fender amp. It's sometimes nice to have. Some tremolo, and then down here I've also got a chorus. It isn't really causing too much of a chorus effect. In fact, I think I've been a bit... Now, I think I was about right there. Just enough to... I meant to say that without that one. Yeah, just enough to give us a doubling, thicker tone. And then what I've done here, this is the two reverbs, which you probably wouldn't engage at the same time. But say you want to just have the parallel delay with your normal unaffected signal. What we could do is we could then send that into the actual physical amp. If it's got a nice reverb on the amp that you're using, engage that and leave that one, the plate off. And then because you've got no reverb going to front of house, you can engage this spring. And this is what you're hearing on the video. So we've got a mono delay going into that reverb, which doesn't sound too bad. Again, I don't know if I would do... basically, I'll trial it on the sound check. And if we go back, so then if we're using this plate delay, I would probably keep the amp very dry. And then we're retaining that parallel. If I show you here, we're doing this is how the delays engage in even split and AB. So I was going to tell you something about so when I'm using hired in backline, my band often plays Butlin holiday camps, which there's 3 around the country. And there's usually a Fender Twin or a Hot Rod DeVille. So what I'll often do is actually keep my preset that I'm as a modelled, fully going XLR out to front of house, and then I'll make keeping that in stereo, and then I'll have a send somewhere before the amplifier, and then send just a dry signal to the amp. So I'll have, in theory, the PA wet, it's not fully wet, and then the amp completely dry. And it just allows me to have a little bit of stage volume without actually changing to a mono effect. But this may be something that I start doing, is completely going mono, having more of a fuller wet mix to the amp and a similar thing, mono to the PA. I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole now, but yeah. So I hope that all makes sense. So I'll make this available. It's nothing too revolutionary. That we're using a pedal board into a clean amp, but it did take me a little bit of time. Oh, and before we do anything else, I'll just take off that big PA simulator that I put on there. So if we go back onto clean, crunch, overdrive 1, overdrive 2, the boost, And if we go onto here, turn everything on. Let's go crazy. And I'll put it on the wrong one. Overdrive 2, everything on. Chorus, delay. So if I change from that plate to that hot spring, I think I've got something for both, and then completely dry there. Yeah, I think I've got something for all occasions. As I say, I'll make this available on my Buy Me a Coffee page. If you're enjoying these videos, if you can give me a like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Thank you, bye.